Good evening and welcome to AdCast. I'm Carl Vervisch and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Kate Whatley.
Hello. Also joining us this evening is Vinny Tafuro from Tafuro Communications. Welcome, Vinny.
Thanks for having me. I'm always happy to be here.
Vinny's been joining us each month for our Advertising Insight segment, where we try to really focus in on a particular subject in advertising that's really kind of have a little conversation about it.
Yeah, something that's a relevant topic right now.
Topically relevant. Yeah.
We give our insight on the subject.
And
really
we give
is
our
what it comes
insight
down to.
on this advertising. So that's why we call it Ad Insight.
So tonight we're talking about ideals versus reality in regards to diversity in advertising. An interesting topic.
Yeah, and diversity in advertising. This is something that recently has some buzz. I believe I saw it in a smart brief of some sort that came through the blast interweb.
Well, we're going to reach back a little bit. It was an article in Ad Week in December. However, Ad 2 had done a survey at our Addie's Gallery Night last month, and we got some interesting numbers back from that. If you want to
sure, we
look at those.
Yeah, we sent out during Gallery Night, which is an annual event that's held by the Tampa Bay Ad Federation. They kind of invite everyone out to look at all the advertising that was entered in the Addies. Mm-hmm. And what Ad 2 did was put together a little survey regarding the makeup, the demographic makeup of the different agencies, and also some perspectives.
Yeah, we thought we had a captive audience, so we'd get them there. And
turns out we did.
Yeah.
You just back people into a corner and shove a piece of paper in their face, and they tend to write something down.
So we were able to survey the majority of the advertising agencies here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll start off by talking about the demographic makeup of these agencies, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, we had 22 different companies responded,
mm-hmm.
And I guess it represents a total of 650 employees. As far as what the racial demographics are of the agencies, they were 91% white. 1.7% African American, 4% Hispanic, 2.5% Asian, with 0.2% reporting back as other.
Mm-hmm.
There's one person in our entire city that is other.
Well, at least in those 22 agencies. What was interesting with that is going back to that Adweek article, which looks at labor statistics from 2008. Nationally, we're kind of in a similar area. Whites are 83%, with Asians being 3%, African American 5%, and Hispanic or Latino being 8%, which kind of surprising.
What really strikes me about that is Tampa Bay is one of the most diverse communities nationally.
Yeah, and we have a really heavy Hispanic population, so I was expecting to see higher Hispanic numbers.
You would think that number skewed higher.
In all of those numbers, yes, all of those numbers, we are less diverse. There's more. We have more white people in the industry and less of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, in the Hispanic in particular, 4% of our market, whereas nationally they're at 8%. In our city, the Tampa Bay area is actually 12% Hispanic.
Yeah. The what else did we have in these?
The interesting thing is to consider. You wouldn't expect that because there's agencies in town and around the area that specialize in Hispanic advertising too.
Yeah, and there's probably, I'm afraid, did those make up the only numbers, which would be kind of sad. And then we got a couple quotes back that were, these are kind of random and not named. What's that word?
Anonymous.
Anonymous quotes. One of the questions was, do ad agencies have a responsibility to accurately depict diverse consumers? This was the other one. Is the advertising industry doing its part to hire individuals from diverse backgrounds? One of the answers was it has to do more with the applicant base. Mm-hmm. So are we producing students or pushing people towards that industry if they're creative? Another one was, yes, they are doing their part. If anything, agencies are concentrating too much, which obviously our numbers speak otherwise.
Right, they do. And the danger here is we had other guests on earlier tonight that were talking about how important it is to have people from these specific ethnic background or cultural background that you're looking to speak to working on these campaigns, and it doesn't look like we're necessarily doing that here in Tampa.
Not doing it. Now we're not practicing it, but are we preaching it? I mean, the other segment of this study of this survey was to look at, what people's feelings were about how we should be approaching this, whether people should have, like that, for instance. Obviously, as far as the employment goes, they're saying the talent's just not there. Yeah. What did they say about the advertising that they're doing?
Well, we had that one. Do agencies have a responsibility to accurately depict diverse consumers? We had 70% said yes. Are we doing our part? Well, then those go back into the team things. The other part was, do agencies have a responsibility? The opinions on that was only if it's their client. If we're selling to a diverse market, we need to be. No, we have a responsibility to create communications that will reach the consumer that we're targeting. So a lot of it based it, yes, we have a responsibility, but only if it's necessity.
Yeah. The interesting thing about those last two is, those are, they're saying we don't have this responsibility because we're not a diverse population or because we're not advertising to a diverse population. It's simply not true.
Correct.
Yeah, is it because, I was watching
earlier.
They
just don't want their business? Is that it?
I was watching earlier about the diversity with how to phrase White House or Casablanca Oval Office.
Yeah.
Now, are these assumptions being made because we don't have enough diverse people in our workplace?
That's interesting.
That if somebody from her agency had been at that agency, would they know that they have a different target market than what the majority at that agency currently thinks? Now, and that may be part of it.
Yeah, this issue with lack of diversity in advertising is not just specific to Tampa Bay. It is an issue that plagues our entire industry.
Sure.
Here's a quote from the Adweek article, and this was on that labor study. USA Today recently dubbed the ad industry a poster child for a dearth in diversity.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go us.
Which one? Data suggests that some shops have merely donned a fig leaf doing pro bono work for minority causes, but still hiring only those who look like them. So there's quite a bit of press that's not very positive on what we're doing.
I guess the question is, how do you change it? All the data is out there. We've been doing for years. I think this is probably my third year on AdCast talking about diversity. And, we have a whole segment of our club that's devoted to this. We run events around it. We talk about it. But what can we actually do to transform this community and, make people care about hiring and the things that they're doing reflecting our population?
Yeah, communicating to those people.
I think we need to be a little bit more critical. I've been involved long enough, and most of what we've done as an organization and locally and even nationally has been trying to tout all the good that we've done rather than highlighting some of the things that we haven't done that we need to work on. And I think we've kind of avoided that subject.
Some constructive criticism.
Any of those to throw out? Things we haven't done?
Well, we haven't really polled ourselves and put that out. I know looking at other chapters across the country, none of the diversity programs that they've run have been critical. Either the press has been critical, or the media, or the consumer has boycotted a spot that was racial, but the industry itself hasn't called it out.
They're not self-governing, or not self-regulating.
Yeah.
From a diversity perspective. Really interesting. Well, Vinny, thank you very much for coming on the show and talking to us about this.
Yeah.
I think it's
Thanks for having me.
Thank you as always. And if people want to read more about
we'll have an update on this with the segment at blog.tafurocommunications.com.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. And we want to make sure we thank our sponsors, Tampa Digital Studios, TBT, and Chipotle.
And thanks to you at home. It's been a pleasure having you watch us.